stuck, but you go and just punch it out on this thing and you got in your own blood case and you only got one word.
Oh, we managed.
I don't think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could move down this way, we'll have the assembly and roll call down near. Thank you. Okay. Well, welcome everyone this morning.
Going good. Oh, back there, I can get it. Done.
This afternoon's events. If the people still registering could move around onto the asphalt, and if you can move back just a little please. I know the cake's beautiful. Back, yeah. You can move back just a little. It allows everyone to see the plaque when we get it unveiled. While we're waiting just for the start, could the primary students, Laharum primary students who are presenting posies, could they come up please to their teachers here so that we can get that started? Those students presenting posies, could they come forward please? For the afternoon event, the President of Laharum School Council, Trevor Winfield, will be chairing this afternoon, and I'd like to introduce to you Trevor Winfield. Thanks, Trevor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fantastic day, and I'd love to welcome you on behalf of the Laharum State School Council and introduce to you our special guests, Wimmera Shire President, Councillor Jeff McTavish, and his wife Alice. Representatives of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Lizard, Director of, pardon me, Wally O'Brien, Mr. Les O'Brien, Wally McKenzie, John Nunn, Marion Barber. I'd like to also welcome past and present teachers, past and present students, and all visitors. I welcome you here on the occasion of our school centenary. To recognise this school centenary, I invite Mr. Les O'Brien, our Acting Regional Director of Education of this region, to officially recognise the Laharum School Centenary, and I call on him now to make a speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Trevor, first of all, for the invitation for my wife and I to attend this magnificent occasion. I'm here not out of a sense of duty, it's with a real delight that I'm part of your ceremonials today. I've worked all my professional life in country communities, and I know from experience that there's no happier or more important occasion than a school centenary of this kind. Seeing that it is such an historical event, I thought I'd better do a bit of history homework, and I used the only reference book that I've got in the regional office, which is the official history of the Education Department. And there's a short paragraph that I was going to read out about Laharum. Fortunately, I arrived early enough to talk to your school council president, because he assures me that the official historians got it wrong. And if you look inside, of course, the proof is there. The first part's pretty accurate. 2805 Laharum. Following a petition from the predominantly German settlers of this area, a schoolroom with a 2-room residence attached was built on allotment 43, parish of Laharum, on 18th of June 1887. Head teacher Lydia Black, 1877 to 1889, commenced teaching at Laharum. The enrolment reached 20 in that year. The school closed on the 9th of January 1901 because of falling attendance, but reopened on the 14th of June 1902. The building was shifted to its present site allotment 60, parish of Wartook in 1912, where in 1937 it was destroyed by fire. And this is where it started to go wrong. They got the dates wrong and they got the people wrong. The correct version is this. In 1939, Councillor Alex MacDonald, MLA, accompanied by, and I believe it's Mr. Hamilton Lamb, MLA, Minister of Lands, opened the new school on its present site at the foot of the Grampians. So that's the correct history. Ladies and gentlemen, an occasion like this, of course, doesn't occur without a lot of organisation, and I'd like to add to the congratulations that I think all of you would want to pass on to all people involved with the organisation, not only the chairman of the Centenary Committee, Gil Hopkins, and our school council president, but there's probably an army of people who have contributed. And if we want to point up the importance and the future of Laharum, it might be wise to end with some sort of observations about the present state of the school. It's worth noting that the population is now 41, and that's the largest that it's ever been. It's also worth noting that there are 3 teachers, and there have never been 3 teachers at the school before this year. And you've only got to look around you to see the magnificent state that the school is in, to be sure that the school council ought to be very proud of the way in which the school is presented today, and it promises that the next 100 years will be as magnificent as the first. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a rock which was kindly donated by Jeff McTavish and installed over here by the Wimmera Shire. We will now call on Mrs. McTavish to officially unveil it. Mrs. McTavish is the eldest ex-teacher from the school. And now if Mrs. McTavish would kindly unveil our plaque. Thank you very much. The plaque was installed in its present place there. Much thanks goes to Mr. Greg Barnes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll now move on. We have a time capsule, which I hope you've all contributed something to put in this, which will be opened in 25 years' time on the year 2012. It is intended that these will be some little memento. We have some idea of what's been letters, and well, I guess you know what you've put in it. But to officially close this, we have Bronwyn Pike and Ross Taylor, who are present students. Wally Mackenzie, the Assistant Regional Director in this area, will also put in a submission to the capsule. He will now come forward and give us some idea of what he's going to put into the capsule. Thank you.
Mr. Shire President, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I was very pleased to be asked to do this, and certainly I had something that I could say because there is a lot going on in the Education Department at the moment. Rather than write a lot myself, I simply outlined some of the more important things that are happening in education in Victoria today, and then I've got a series of pamphlets and documents that relate to the changes that are going on. Perhaps I'll just mention a few of them. The replacement of the Year 12 High School Certificate with a Victorian Certificate of Education, a 2-year course of study over years 11 and 12. In the smaller primary schools, the expansion of a range of services, including shared specialists, mobile library and art craft services, shared clerical assistance and so on. The granting of greater powers to school councils and regional boards of education. The increasing use of computers and related information processing in the teaching learning process and in school administration, the reorganisation of schools, and so on and so on. And the material here that gives some detail of those points that I've listed. And with a bit of luck, I'd like to be back in 25 years to help you dig it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ollie. Would Ross Taylor and Bronwyn Pike please come forward now? With the time capsule, thanks. Ross, would you like to get Mr. Mackenzie's notes and place in there, please? Pardon? Yes, place it in a plastic bag, thanks. Has anyone else got anything that they'd like to put in at the last moment? We do also have another reserve one. If you do come up with some ideas and would like to put some mementos in another one, well, this one's full by the looks of it.
Yeah, we've made it.
You want to? Does anyone have an Instamatic Polaroid camera shot handy that they'd like to put in? Right, we'll now seal that. Could you turn around so that the... We're making sure it's well and truly sealed here. Hold the bottom, please. Yeah. We'll give it one more for good luck. Right. They'll now, yes, by all means. I'll now place that in a prepared cavity, which will have a plaque placed over it when we finally cement it in at a later date. Unfortunately, I haven't got the plaque with me, but it is on display in the school. Thank you, Bronwyn and Ross. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got this beautifully decorated cake down here, which seems really a shame to cut it. This was these cakes. As you can see, there's numerous cakes here. They were made by the parents, mainly students. Also, Lois Grimble made a cake, which helped us out a lot, and beautifully decorated by Mary Russell. A big thank you to all those people who contributed to this. I now ask Mr. Ivan Goy, who is our eldest senior student, to please come forward and cut the cake. Thanks, Ivan. Just a minute, would you like to just stand here so that the... Thank you very much. Just, excuse me, could you just stand there a little while longer? Thank you very much, Ivan. If anyone would like to take a few photos of the cake now, this will be taken inside and cut up and distributed for afternoon tea. It does seem a pity to cut up such a beautiful work of art. Just put it near it, you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. If you could just, these people close here could just move back a little bit. Could you just... Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll now plant a couple of trees, which Gil is presently digging a hole there for. Thanks, Gil. I'll now, pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call on Mrs. Mabel McTavish to plant one of these trees. Mrs. Mabel McTavish is a ripe old 94 years of age. Pardon me, and she is, I believe, one of the last surviving ex-students of the old Wartook School, Wartook South School, I believe, which was up near, pardon? Yeah, down south, yeah, up near Rosebrook. If you'd kindly come forward and plant one of these trees for us. Someone like to fetch a bucket of water?
Not even half very like that.
Hey, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another tree to be planted, and I'll call on Mr. John Nunn, who also wants to say a few words. He's a Senior Education Officer. John Nunn. John.
Thanks very much, Mr. Winfield. Mr. McTavish, Councillor McTavish, the Shire President, Mr. O'Brien, Regional Director, Mr. Wally McKenzie, Assistant Regional Director, and Miss Marion O'Brien, Miss Marion Barber over here, who is the Acting Senior Education Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, it's a privilege to be asked to plant this tree today, and also a privilege to be invited down to your centenary. The tree itself symbolises to me the whole school and its community. If you look at the roots of the tree, it represents the people of this community that are feeding the important ingredient into the school, the children, and also through their various organisations, the school council, the mothers' clubs, providing the school with all the amenities that it has. And I'd like to congratulate, Trevor, your council and your mothers' club on the work that you've done at this school. When I came here in 1977, there was one building. This was pretty bare, and there's been a tremendous amount of work done, and it's a credit to you, your council, and your mothers' clubs. The second part of the tree is the stem, and that has concentric rings in it. And those concentric rings, to me, represent the teachers that have worked in this school, each one having a particular influence on all the children. And I'd like to say a sincere thanks from all those teachers, right back from Lydia Black in the 18th of June 1887, right through to Jan, who's here as the head teacher at the present moment, and Sue and the other teacher that's with Tonya Booth, those three teachers that are here today. I'd like to say a sincere thanks to all the teachers. Thirdly, the leaves, I believe, represent the pupils of the school, the past pupils and those who are in attendance at the school today. And those past pupils have left this, many of them have left this area, and they've gone interstate, some overseas, I should imagine, and they have interacted with other communities. And by the testing by the quality of the people back here today, I believe that this school, Trevor, has served this district very, very well in the quality of the people that it has produced. And I'd like to congratulate all of those people who did come back today. Lastly, I'd like to say that this tree is a living symbol of the continuation of the school. And in 100 years' time, when you're having your bicentennial, I won't be around, but I hope that my tree, the second one that I've planted in the Wimmera, grows. The previous one didn't. Where do I plant it, Trev?
Just over there, thanks, John. Thank you, John. Not just yet. Oh. Who's that for? Get him on the next shot. Thank you, John. You. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, on June the 18th this year, it'll be 100 years since schooling began in the Laharum district. With this fact in mind, the school felt it was an opportune time. Oh, no, I beg your pardon, it's not the school. The district felt it was an opportune time to write a history of Laharum. As you can imagine, to record a history of Laharum, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and to this end, the committee which formed was absolutely fantastic. They spent many hours and a lot of dedicated hours to achieve this. No more so than Mr. Gil Hopkins, who led the committee. It was an enthusiastic committee. They strived to get the most accurate and to record this history so that not only would it be a book, it would be a book that they'd be proud of and the whole district could be proud of. The book which produced is a tribute to the efforts, and I consider it a tribute. It's a tribute to the efforts, and I beg your pardon. And I feel it appropriate to call on Mr. Gil Hopkins to officially launch this book, Laharum. Thanks, Gil.
Sorry, there you go. That's all right. Thanks very much, Trevor. It has been a lot of work, and it has been a committee that's done the work. I recognise that a few individuals have probably done more than others, but you should read the first few pages of the book because it tells you the names of the committee. If you look through some of the book, you'll find that Nancy Meebers has a lot of bylines there, and she went to a lot of trouble to find out stories from other people and family histories, and that's and her name's recognised in there, and quite a bit of the information that we have came from lots of sources. We used reference books, but mostly we used people's memory and family records. In the school there is a bit of a display about the book, and it shows you a bit of the process of how we went about it. We just collected information from all over. We had about 30 authors, and then 2 people put the book together from those 30 odd people. Not odd people, though some of them are a bit odd. So the 2 people who put the book together, well, I was part of it, and I guess I wrote a bit of the start of it. You can read some of that if you're interested. And but one of the main people who did the work and who held up his high standards and who put the photographs in and really produced the book in the way that it is, it just wouldn't be the standard it is now without his effort, was Alan Finch. I'd like Alan Finch to come forward, please. Just make sure I've got the right one, Alan. This is just a small token, but the committee have signed this book and we're officially presenting it to Alan as recognition for the work and efforts and dedication and his authority that he's put on the book. Thank you, Alan.
Excuse me, Alan.
He's gone. Now, when you get this book, you have to treat it as a very valuable item. As Trevor said, it's taken a lot of hours of work, and it does cost a bit of money, but it's not just simply that. It's very valuable. It is important history, probably the most important history in Australia, maybe even the world, I think. And it's been well done. I'm proud to be associated with it because it is well printed. We're very pleased with it. We haven't found any mistakes yet, but I'm sure when you go home and read it thoroughly, you might ring us up and tell us something that we've missed out on. Anyway, you can fix that up when you write the next one. But this book needs to be treated carefully and looked after. And one of the things that you can think about doing is when you open it, is to open it gently and carefully, not to come up to it and just snap it open. It's not a paperback. If you do that with a paperback, you'll have two paperbacks. If you do it with this one, you'll just have a bit of a crack down the middle of the back of it. So treat it carefully and it'll give you many long years reading. Again and again, I'm sure you'll read the same story 60 times. It is my pleasure to launch this book, Laharum. This book. Friends, Romans,
Countrymen.
lend me your beers.
Thank you very much, Gil.
Bottles?
The school held a wine and cheese night one night, which was a great success. The ambition of this wine and cheese night was to select a wine that we could celebrate our centenary with. It is my honour and privilege to release these wines. As you see, we have... I better get these names correct. A Seppelts Woodley Queen Adelaide Riesling. That's this one. And we also have a Lord Melbourne, beg your pardon, a Seppelts Lord Melbourne Port. Yes, thank you. If I can. These wines are available, and very available actually. And if you would, if you like to order them here at the registration office, unfortunately, due to certain regulations, you can't pick them up until the bar opens again. When you do pick them up and take them home, I hope you enjoy them like we enjoyed sampling them. We're drawing to the close of this segment. Just before I go, this garden here, which I'm almost standing on, was constructed for the Junior Red Cross, and they, I hope, will faithfully maintain this garden and plant some trees. This was originally going to be the garden that they were going to present to the school, but we ran out of little time, and they did construct a garden which is out near the toilets. So I'd like to recognise their contribution, and we have a plaque on a rock here which shows that they presented that to the school council at an earlier date. Yes, thanks. We have a CFA representative here, Mr. Trevor Coulthard. If he would kindly come forward. He is to present an award to the Laharum district with regard to fire prevention. I'll ask Trevor to kindly come forward. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Trevor.
We'll invite Don with you.
If Captain Don Carter could come across, please. We need him involved here as well. Why Don's coming across, perhaps I could explain to you people here today is what this certificate and award is all about. The Country Fire Authority, in their wisdom, conducts a competition on a regional basis for brigades within a region to participate in a fire prevention competition. The aim being to get brigades
to participate, to encourage the community at large to carry out fire prevention work around their place within the community to make the area safe from fire. As a means to assist brigades, the authority run this competition with an incentive of a prize valued at $600 for the winning brigade within the region, plus running up prizes. The Laharum Brigade have participated very, very well over the 1986-87 competition and won the section. That is the first prize for the southern section of Region 17, the Country Fire Authority. It's a great achievement for the brigade because a lot of dedication and a lot of work goes into the organisation of the fire prevention side of things for this competition. There are three main areas that brigades are judged on. Firstly, they are judged on their planning for fire prevention. They are then also judged on the implementation of major fire breaks, and thirdly they are judged on individual protection. That's protection by the individual landowner around his main assets. Now there's no mean thing for a brigade to sit down and to participate here because there is a lot of work initially in the planning phase. If you plan well, you'll achieve your goals as what you're trying to do for the community, and that is to save it from the incoming fire or perhaps a fire starting within the area and going outside. So a lot of work goes into the planning side because that's what the competition is really based on. The Laharum Brigade excelled themselves in their planning. They are aware that there is a great need for fire prevention within the area, that they are in a fire-prone area, and they make sure that they do their utmost for the protection of Laharum and the community. And I would believe over the number of years the brigade has been formed that they have excelled in this field, and I would dare say even prior to that, even in the pioneering days, the earlier settlers would have been well and truly aware of the need for fire prevention. In the second phase of the competition, that of the implementation of major fire breaks, the brigade has undertaken many hours of implementation here on roadside burning or encouraging landowners to carry out fire prevention around their boundaries, or the municipality, the Department of Conservation, Forest and Lands, whoever. And they excelled once again in this area and achieved a very, very high standard. A very pleasing standard, I must assure you, which makes us, as the regional officers in charge of the region, very proud of the brigade, and knowing full well if a fire should develop in this area that the people and community are going to be reasonably safe. And of course the landowners themselves must be congratulated because through the awareness the brigade has given them, they have carried out considerable amount of work around their properties, around their main assets to make them safe, to make the job of the brigade that much easier should a fire start, by where the fire brigade can concentrate on the fire, not worry about the main assets, knowing that they will be safe. And my congratulations must go to the Laharum Brigade for their excellent effort, and I would ask Don if you'd like to come forward please, and firstly accept the cheque for winning. Congratulations Don, come up here.
Thank you.
And secondly, I'll just explain the cheque. The brigade, having received that cheque, it's up to them now as to what they do with it, but normally they're encouraged to put it towards fire prevention equipment so that they can utilise that equipment to their advantage to further protect the community of Laharum. And as something to be able to reflect back on, the Regional Fire Prevention Committee, this is a regional committee, have made available to the brigade a certificate that they can hang very proudly in their fire station to remind them of the excellent effort that they achieved in the 1986-87 fire prevention competition by winning it. And I'll just read what it says. It says, Country Fire Authority, Region 17, Rural Fire Prevention Competition 1986-87. This is to certify that the Laharum Rural Fire Brigade was selected as the winner of the Regional Fire Prevention Competition Southern Section. And my congratulations to Don and to the Laharum Brigade, and it gives me great pleasure to present this certificate to you, Don. Congratulations.
Thanks, Stuart. On behalf of the district people, I'd just like to say thank you to Trevor for the opportunity to present this to us today. It's accepted on my behalf on the behalf of the people of Laharum, and for those that have come a long way to be with us today. The local residents this year contributed in excess of 2,000 hours of fire prevention work. That in itself is a fairly creditable achievement. And just like to say thank you to the committee for the opportunity to be able to receive this. It is very difficult to get people to a fire brigade meeting, but we felt that it was fitting that everybody should have the opportunity to see what the work they've done and the rewards that they get from it. Thank you.
Well, thanks, ladies and gentlemen. That draws to the close the official centenary celebration, or not the celebrations, presentations with regard to the state school. I invite you to further partake of cakes or biscuits and parts of the cake. I believe they're going to cut it up and spread it around a little bit. I can see it's going to have to be spread pretty thinly around all these people here. As I said before, it is a pity to cut up such a beautiful work of art. I now officially invite you to come and have a drink with us on behalf of which supplied by the Parents Club. I'll hand you. I believe they're going to cut up all of them, are they? I'll hand you back to Mr. Gil Hopkins. Thank you.
This is just a few organisational matters. A reminder that there are trees to plant that you can put your names on. That there are people that need to sign the visitors book. It was missing from the registration earlier, so if you've missed out on the visitors book, please leave your name there and address. If you want videos, want copies of the tape that's being photographed at the moment, will you please leave your name there so we can get to you? And there are a lot of souvenirs, and there's a 2 raffles, so have a look around, chat to everyone, but please put your names down where we can see them, and feel free to join in with everyone and plant trees, get what we can out of it. Thanks everyone. The books are all here now. The wines can be booked up and received as soon as the bar's open, but books are all over here now, and you'll see what a great job it is. What else? Yeah. The bar's open at 5 o'clock. At 5:30 there's tea, and in the meantime there's games here. We'll see you at tea and then the students' concert. The students in one group, maybe? I've had a request for past students to get their photos taken. Could past students gather over here on the asphalt, please, so that we can take photographs of all the past students? Welcome tonight to the students' concert. There are a few things to mention again before we start. It sounds like commercial breaks. You can see that we have video being made the whole weekend. And again, I'll tell you that the video tapes will be on sale. You can hook them up either whenever you go into the dance or any event, wherever you register or pay for something, you can hook up videotapes. And they'll cost $30 each tape. We're getting all today's program on the one tape, and probably tomorrow's will be on the second. One of the things we have to do is pay for the master tape, and the more people we can get that will take copies from that tape, the cheaper it will be for us to pay for the master. You also see that there's raffles. We have 1,000 litres of petrol being raffled tonight at 10 o'clock. So you've got only to 10 o'clock to take a chance in that raffle. The painting that you saw on the entrance into the marquee will be raffled tomorrow night at about 10 o'clock, sometime during the next year's concert. John Munn, our Senior Education Officer, also has a few more questionnaires to hand out to people that are interested in filling them in. Ex-students who've returned and ex-teachers who've returned to school for this weekend. So if you can see John just here at the front here, after tonight's concert, you'll be pleased to give those to you. Well, welcome everyone tonight. Students' concert for the school centenary, and I'll hand over to the teachers to start the concert. There's still some people coming in, so if there's any spare room, could you move up, please? You may find as the concert goes that more people will be coming in. Okay, we're right to start. Now, during the concert, the students will not be using amplification. I'm the only one allowed to use that tonight. So, would you please be very quiet during the whole concert? The acoustics in our hall are not terribly good. For the students' voices to get to the people up the back, you'll all have to be very quiet. So please bear with us all. And we've got about 3/4 of an hour
aren't all there, but we are all here.
Be quiet, please. Now, just answer present when I call your names. Ashley Adama. Present, sir. Amber Avon.
Present, sir.
Roman Bungle. Present, sir. Quinton Clueless.
Present, sir.
Grant Grizzle. Present, sir. Chelsea Jogalong.
Present, sir.
Nellie Nitwick.
Present, sir.
Nathan Noel.
Present, sir.
Nick Numskull.
I think I'm present.
Peter Professor.
Present, sir.
Ross Rayvon.
Sir. Present, sir.
Quiet. Sally Saylor.
Present, Sarah is here at 9 o'clock. How about you?
Quiet.
Hang on. It's at 9
Quiet! Wendy Weeper. Wendy Weeper. Wendy, you're here. Why aren't you acting like everyone else?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know it was your birthday, so I haven't got a present for you.
It's not my birthday. Present means you're here. Sorry.
When is your birthday, sir?
Well, let me see. Mind your own business, boys, and let's get on with lessons. Bronwyn Bungle, can you tell me how blood swims, sweet boats, and oars across the Blue Mountains in 1813?
Very slowly, sir.
Well, but why did they go to the mountains?
Was it because they couldn't go under, sir?
Of course it wasn't.
Well, why didn't they, sir? Why did they not go over the mountains? Because their mum was told them to.
That's right, because their mothers told them to.
So they packed their bags.
So they packed their bags,
Said goodbye to their girlfriends.
said goodbye to their girlfriends,
And caught the first jet heading west.
and caught them. Ashley Adama, come out here. I've never heard such drivel in all my life. Bend over! Now, go and sit down. Let's do arithmetic.
I know arithmetic is, sir.
You do? Well, what is it then?
Gazintas.
Gazintas?
Yes, 2 gazinta 4, 4 gazinta 8, 8 gazinta
Greg Grizzle, if I had 500 apples and gave you one, how would you answer the Roman system?
I don't know about the main systems, Nick. That's right, it's also pretty darn stingy.
Be quiet. I can see arithmetic is a waste of time. Let's take grammar.
Where to?
What do you mean where to?
You said we were going to take grammar, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, where are we going to take her?
Grammar, you idiot, not grammar. Now, it's as correct. I am a fool or I are a fool.
Don't you know?
Of course I know.
Well, why are you asking us?
Because I want to find out if you know.
Well, what is it then?
I am a fool.
You're really us.
Be quiet.
Sir, have you read the script properly?
Right? Have you read the script properly, sir? Beg your pardon? Now, who's remembered the phone for a side? Oh, excellent, children. Well, let me hear you. 1, 2.
Country, a land of sleeping plains.
Go on then. What's next? I thought you all learned it.
Oh, now we remember, sir. I love the sunburned country, a land of sleeping plains. I go to school at Laharum, where the teacher has no brains.
What, Chief? That's not the phone. I'll teach you another verse. I came to teach at Laharum, where the kids cannot spell, but when they give me trouble, I can teach them how to yell, Ashley Adama! And Avon! Roman Bungle!
the dog. Woof, woof, woof. That worried the cat that killed the rat that ate the milk that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the cow that crumpled corn. That tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that killed the rat, that ate the milk that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the maid that all forlorn. That milked the cows that crumpled corn. This is the man all tattered and torn, that kissed the maid and all forlorn, that milked the cow, the crumpled corn, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that killed the rat, that ate the milk that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the priest who shaved and shorn. That made the man all tattered and torn, that kissed the maid and all forlorn, that milked the cow, the crumpled corn, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that killed the rat, that ate the milk that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the cock that crowed in the morn. Cock-a-lee-lee! That waked the priest who shaved and shorn, that married the man who tattered and torn, that kissed the maid and all forlorn, that milked the cow, that crumpled corn, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that killed the rat, that ate the milk, that lay in the house that Jack built. I am the farmer who sowed the corn. He kept the cock that crowed in the morn. But when the priest who shaved and shorn, made the man a tattered and torn, the kiss that made it all flawed, the cow that crumpled the wood, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that killed the rat, that ate the milk, lay in the house that Jack built.
Tickets to the Brown Junk Cobra. Police Chief.
hope you enjoy the concert. We'll have another one in another 100 years.
Tomorrow night we have the ex-students concert. We've seen tonight the cream of Laharum. I wonder if tomorrow night that cream might become the old cheese. We're going on now with the bush dance next door.
By the right shoulder. That's coming in, passing back to back by the right shoulder and back to your spot. And then do-si-do by the left shoulder. That's the one with the watch on. Of course, except for those that haven't got watches. Or they've got them in their pockets like that fella over there. Right, now the top couple in each set is the couple closest to the band. Top couple, you hold hands across the set. You side skip to the bottom of your set. Down the centre you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And back again. That's the easy bit. Right, now we're going to strip the willow. Who's stripped the willow before? We've got a couple of willow strippers. Right, of course we have. We've got some exhibition willow strippers down here. They're going to show you how you have down, haven't you? You have been. Right, these guys, I'll explain it for them as they go, but you watch carefully. Now the top couple will, before we do that, everybody in line, you have to turn with your left arm. All right, so you put your left arm in towards the centre of the circle, ladies and fellas, that's the way. And the top couple will turn by the right arm, 1.5 turns till you're facing the opposite sex. And you go left arm to the people at the side, right arm with your partner in the centre again, left arm to the next couple down, all the way to the bottom. It's easy, isn't it? Look how wonderful it all fits together. Would you like to try it? You can try it if you like. You're set down here. Top couple, right arm with your partner, left arm to the side. That's the idea. All the way to the bottom. No, keep going. Keep going all the way to the bottom. Okay, when you get to the bottom, just wait there until we all catch up.